Colorism. All over the world, I'm black except on the African continent. How it feels to be a black American, in Africa dealing with colorism. How would you, as a black American, feel if you were being called the face of racism, considered a white Westerner that was no longer a black person? Well, in my experience, that's right where you will be placed when you come to Africa. Surely everyone has DSTV, the main cable company in many African countries. They know Will Smith, Vanessa Williams, Rick Fox, the twins Tia and Tamara, and so on, right? They know these are black people, don't they? Well, even many in Kenya. Some consider Barack H. Obama a white man. They call mixed race people like him half caste, one of the most sickening and disgusting things you can think of. I mean, it's no worse than darky and blacky, or when a few Ghanaians called my husband and Kenyans all dark black and ugly. Preparing yourself to go from writing and reading about race in America to becoming thought of as that racist from the West, should be on top of your list. Yesterday, as I enjoyed my day living in an African country, I couldn't escape being called a number one white man, I'm a black woman, and number two being targeted and harassed by police seeking to bribe a white Westerner. First, let me explain the white man calls I get here. So, in the eyes of some Africans, I am too large to be a woman. Wait for it, fat people live all over the world. There are very large and very obese people here in Ghana. I was told by a very honest Ghanaian man that I'm too tall. My shoulders are broad, so I'm looked at as a man. Being called a man has happened to me in Kenya many times. Probably explains why I have been hit in the back so many times in Kenya. Men walking up behind me and punching or slapping me in the back has happened in Kenya more times than I can count. Trust and believe me, it hurt a lot every time too. I've lost friends and family to my move to Africa. People don't reach out to me, and some family members have made negative comments about my move. Others have made insulting comments about Africans, which I cut them off for after cursing them out. Yet here I am suffering for my choice as well as being insulted at every turn. When I write about my life in African countries, the insults come in my comments. I refuse to shut up or stop. I gave up everything to move here. People then love to point out all the wrongs in America as a way to insult or hurt your feelings, as if black Americans have control over the American government or all the bad shit America has done since the beginning. This black African is not the only one to say people who are not African are not black, that somehow we are less black because we were not born in Africa. One woman said that if I can't speak you or Ga, I'm not one of them, meaning that I am not a black person. Her comments are the same as what many other Africans said about Africans born in other countries. If they don't carry themselves as African, or speak an African language, they are white people. This is poorly educated nonsense, but again, you can't say anything or complain. No one cares, no one will change, no one will stop calling you a white person. Again, get used to this and don't say anything. Black is DNA proven, but you can't explain this. And many don't and won't accept you because they don't want to. Remember, they are the descendants of the people who sold you off the Cape Coast of Ghana. Along with giving up everything, I didn't come with $1 million. Yes, that is what is suggested to move to Africa. Even $300,000 won't get you far, not living in certain areas like Accra, Ghana, if you want to buy a home. The house prices are now near what they were in America before this latest house crazy prices increase. Much of the services, human rights, laws, police, and other issues like medical care are not the same here in Africa. Some people think it is like other countries around the world. Come with that attitude if you want, and you will spend most of your days crying. Sick of race, racism, and skin color, just want to live your life, don't you? Well, African living is not that easy. Skin color is all over the place. Every day I go outside, I'm referred to by my skin color, and it is not being a black person either. Also, even in the news media in Kenya, every story they write about a white person, they don't use their name, they call them the Mzungu. If you are light skin, you too are called that. I'm not mixed race, as my mother and father are both black, and so were all of my grandparents. I have posted my DNA. There is some white way back because of slavery, of course. Even many Africans, even raised outside of African countries, are called white, but with this skin color, you are singled out, and it will be a lot to deal with. In the US, when doing research on moving to Ghana, I discovered so many great YouTube videos and stories. None of them included lifestyle, living, human rights, rape, crime, police bribes, tribalism, hated of other Africans and immigration scams, all from actually employed officials. If you try to report them, by the way, good luck with that. When I was here in Ghana, I tried to locate some of those stories, and what I found was a host of stories of people leaving Ghana. I don't understand. There is a difference in internet results here as opposed to outside of the continent. Don't believe me? I have Facebook pages with African phone numbers. I used to set up those accounts. There is a vast difference in what is fed onto my timeline. On my African pages, there are many pro-Trump adverts. There are many fake news stories with flawed, deceptive articles about COVID-19, monkeypox, and many more political things happening around the world. I've read many articles reporting more than I can count. They are never removed or tagged with a fact-check warning. Even insults, violence, nudity and sex, and photos of dead bodies mutilated are on these pages, unremoved as well. I've written about this here too. Imagine all the racism you've lived and breathed in America. Now come to Africa, and you're now by the majority of the people that will meet you, a racist white American. See how it feels, sit in it, and get used to being called white because it never stops. Even people I've known for 2 years will say, "You as a white." It is annoying. My weight and size are always being called out, all the pointing, staring, and street harassment. Being a tourist is not the same as being a resident. People will tell you all the time this isn't America, but you will never in life think you are in America. You can't say anything, or they will tell you to leave. Don't complain is one of my favorites. Always wondered why every one of my African associates replies, "I'm blessed" or "it will be well," when asked how they're doing. They could be hungry, broke, in need of some assistance, but most won't say so. Others will think you're a bank filled with free money. Haven't you heard America gives away free money to its citizens and white people are all getting a monthly check for being white? I came for love as I was immensely and really in love. I came because my nonprofit was going to morph into an NGO and help women and children in several African countries. I've been met with having to pay bribes to register for that. I've been met with immigration officers giving me false, poor, and illegal advice for extra money, I might add. It has been exhausting to navigate. Get this though, West Africa is home to multiple skin complexions, from very light to very dark. Dark is by far my favorite. I mean, I am partial, though. I am not complaining, I just want people to prepare. I wasn't prepared. Your friend's sister's cousin that moved to Ghana didn't mention this, though. Tracy, surely you're lying and making this up. It can't be that bad. Yes, I am lying. I stay in for days because it is exhausting. Africans will comment on all my articles to leave their countries while sitting snug outside of any African country. Well, I can't. I do not enough to survive back in America. I can return to nothing and start all over again, or I can get by here until I figure out what next. Just know those of you who read about race or write about leaving racist America for racist Africa, come on down. You, too, should taste and see, then know that you jumped from the frying pan to the fire. Beyond race, there will be a million little things you will have to get used to.